to his daughters South Hega or religion town you to Nakup how religion begins in a Badatiari blue, Sarale, and division of labor low au, Koi move any town is up your Tijime. Pramasa down Utiano. In the last letter, I told you how the early men were afraid of everything and imagined that every misfortune was caused by angry and jealous gods. In the last letter, Nasong Sarema, now I told you that appear at the Mew, Byoge. Nirua to at the me India's youth, Byoge. Babyoge the lesser, how the early men were afraid of everything. The Shiulu, the early mania, Ayarango, Palumio Chow, and imagined that that every misfortune was caused by angry and jealous gods. Misfortunes are cansurable, can't jamalapita, how misfortune of your body. Ero, Delumio canso mudanga. That daughter Gibido went to it, no, Napiari jump pitelu through a Sikugeja, a jump hidemu, Pyogi. Metapurage, no, Pramatakua, Luria, Ayarango chout. Pido through Chontuya the Mia, can so muris raga, a daughter Gibido, Manalo went to it, Napiari jump pitelu through Sikugebo, teach on you, Pyogi. They saw these imaginary gods everywhere, in the jungle, in the mountain, in the river, in the clouds. They saw these imaginary gods everywhere. Turuga eri the Sekui and Napiari imaginary gods that are Sekura Maveshi and Napiari, Sekui and Napiari. Eri Sekui and Napiari Nearema to a Minja. Pamalasro in the jungle, Dorema, in the mountain, Tauma, in the river, Mitema, in the clouds, Tainirema, no? Saditra Niarema, eri imaginary gods to meaning. Sekuyi Napiari meaning. Their idea of God was not of a kind and good person, but of a very irritable person who was always losing his temper. Their idea of God, the Napiana Patabido 3 Ayu Sabo 3 Sekua, was not a kind and good person. The Jenavido Kaune to Ninirom Hope, but of a very irritable person. Irritable Raga. Any of them get annoyed easily. A lady say now she pitaramu, not showing your anger, daughter totaramu, our irritable of your body, or daughter toluere, or daughter toluere too. Now, who was always losing his temper, losing his temper, daughter totawa, go a daughter who maintain and amuda lose his temper, look your body. Who was always losing his temper and 2 year daughter go no, a mere maintain 9 day, Eddie daughter tolerated 2 dear on Nina that drew a usa shiabo. And as they were afraid of his anger, they were always trying to bribe him by giving him something, chiefly food. And as they were afraid of his anger, Turuga 2 year daughter would chout at the jamlu. No, the Napiari daughter chout at the jamlu. They were always trying to bribe him. Turuga 2 mere latubu juzani. Bribes are laturavo, no? Balunine latubu juzales by giving him something to Takugu Beijing Api, latubu juzani, chiefly gods, chiefly foods, diga apian sa tautivo, Arari Beijing Api to latubu, the Nibium China on Lupu at juzani. Sometimes, if a disaster came, like an earthquake or a flood or disease which killed large numbers of people, they would become very frightened and think that the gods were angry. Or sometimes at the Katiama, if a disaster came, Biduka the cuckoo Yaulare Kama. Our disasters are Bidukawa or the Bawa Bidukas are not natural disaster, Dilumupionine. Or if a disaster came, the Biduka the cuckoo Yaulare Kama. Blue Biduka Mule, Umali Pure, like an earthquake or a flood or disease. Lomupurano, Natli, Tamamho, Yilamura, Tamamho, Yoga Lumubo. The name of flood than Topareta, Yilamura Pura. Hobby, below which kill large numbers of people. Luri, a year to a Meadivo. No, Sururaga Luri Najigo, Tizide, Eddie Gatlin, Tamamaho, Shilamura, Tamamo, Yogari, Elumu, Piduka Taku Yolade, Kama, disaster Taku Yolade, Kama. The witch became very frightened through a lone Jowlander and think that the gods were angry. Pido, the Napiaria, Toda Trinivilu, Sisunivilu Druha, Kenya. And to please them, they would even go so far as to sacrifice men and women, even kill their own children and offer them to the gods. And to please them, please they would even go so far as to sacrifice men and women. Dima, go so far means to do something extreme. No? Go so far as to go so far as to means to do something extremely pure. They would even go so far as to sacrifice men and women. Did I Puzo Patara and Ines and Sata Lidia, the Cha Nomono, Martina Lidi, no Tangali, Talonia. Time Kudaka Lumubono, or Peduka G. Yola Camuja, Napiari, China on Suja, through a Pimian and Lota, Brauti Ludeles, and the men and women more. Jari, Mimari, Tarigo, Yipus or a tutor, Pimian and Lota. I'll be at a Yotari Mima, so 2 men Ludam even kill their own children through a Tad media around that. Pioma and offer them to the gods. Pio Arao Napiarigo Puzorevo. This seems horrible, but a man who is afraid will do anything. Horrible means so horrible, very bad. This seems horrible, and so horrible, but a man who is afraid. A man who is afraid that will do anything. This must have been the beginning of religion. This must have been the beginning of religion. Beginning. So, religion first came as fear, and anything that is done because of fear is bad. So that religion first came as fear. And anything that is done because of fear is bad. Anything that is done because of fear, is bad. Religion, as to know, tells us many beautiful things. As to know, religion tells us many beautiful things. Religion, as to know, tells us many beautiful things. When you grow up, you will read about the religions of the world and all the good things and the bad things that have been done in their name. When you grow up, you will read about the religions of the world. Badatiari Changu, Payavalime, Padai Ligu Pide, no, Buddha Bada, Christian Bada, Islam Bada, Hindu Bada, Sarebono, Eri Badai Chang to me Payalime, be a kama and of the good things and the bad things. Be a Kauna Iari, Sura Iari, Tarigule Paya. Balu Kauna Iari and Sura Iari that has been done in their name. Through a name never, no, at a Badatiai Nemene. Bebada Satifimo, Elumu, Badadia, Nemine, Lutare, Suare, Johnari will let me pay avalime. It is interesting to notice here, however, how the idea of religion began. It is interesting to notice here, however, Diame Dinyama, no, 3 people to say when they are comare. How the idea of religion began. The Badadia Eju Savo. The Blue Satin Ladales ran a petapio, the Niama, 3 people to say when they are comare. Ta Satin at Checopura. Later, we shall see how it grew. Now by Maro. Araga blue Miapia Laribo, blue Chitwala Rago, Piru, Chijami. But however much it may have grown, we see even today that people fight and break each other's heads in the name of religion. But, however much it may have grown, Araga Blau Memia Towala di Pisi. Pada Tiane Padre Usavono, Blau Memia Towala di Pisi, we see even today. Dinikemaroma Piru Minia. Bahumia letter that people fight and break each other's heads. Luria, Taikabio, Diagondia Yaqueniabo. In the name of religion, Badatia Nemene. Suraga Badatia, Jampiabio, no? Denatia, Taikabio, Goni, Quenia Usamigo, Dinikita Miavalime. I don't know. And for many people, it is still something to be afraid of. And for many people, it is still something to be afraid of. They spent their time in trying to please some imaginary beings by making presents in temples and even sacrifices of animals. They spent their time through a consuming and trying to please some imaginary beings. Seguin Durigo, Genesivo, Juzani, and Truya Chinio, Consone. And Balunine, Jenna Anlotale, by making presents and temples and even sacrifices of animals. Already, Jones only ma, Pia Jones only ma, less only Luyen, Tapuzorella Samo, Pido, the Lisanigo, Shipuzo Yene, Eddie. Seguin Yarigo, Seguin Durigo, non Seguin Durigo, Genesivo, Juzane, Turia Chingo, Consone, that Chudurivo. So Ali Man had a hard life. He had to get his food almost daily or else he starved. So Ali Man had a hard life. He had to get his food almost daily or else he starved. He had to get his food almost daily. Or else he starved to a Namotwalimani. No idle man could live in those days. Idols are lazy being out there. No idle man Paduma could live in those days. Eddie Kitidunga at Mission Imao. It was not possible for anyone even to get together a lot of food and then do nothing for a long time. It was not possible. For anyone, even to get together a lot of food. Asata Amiaji or Susambo. Dinyama, get together means collect. Not collect things together. To do Suzana Usa, get together, get together a lot of food. Asata Amiaji Suzambio and do nothing for a long time. A change Jadi Bama, Melukan Nibu Atre, Baduma Mapina. Suzan Habido, the Bessa Samet, the Laza Samet, Tenisa Samet, Lulumiao, Nia Sadao Sham, Elumishana, and Gatame. When the tribe was formed, it became a little easier for men. When the tribe was formed, the Lumune Zuri, people are at Kama. The town Shima Pyogebi, no Lumune Zuri people are at town Pyogebi. Elo people are at Kama. It became a little easier for men. Ludari at the Nene Pulwela. Papirule, all the members of the tribe working together could get more food than each one singly could have done. All the members of the tribe, the Lumune Zuye, Apowini Alo. Palode Usaleza, working together, a little bit, no? The Lumune Zuri, Apowini Alunga, could get more food. Asata Pubido Yanani. Pata Puyanana, then each one singly could have done. Lu Tiapono, the Tiachinzia, to Ure Lunina, Elumu, the Lumuzuri, or Colon Palm, you look at Kamuta, Asata Pubio Yanani Lupura. She knew that working together or cooperation helps us to do many things which we cannot do singly. She knows that the Mitiba. Padi lesser that working together or cooperation to do a loluta, Tamo, Pubaunabo. Cooperation help us to do many things. ကျွန်တော်တို့ကိုအဖေတို့ကိုပေါ့နော်ကိစ္စတွေအများကြီးလုပ်နိုင်မှုအတွက်ကူညီပေးပါတယ်ဘယ်လိုကိစ္စလဲဆိုတော့ which we cannot do singly အဖေတို့တူဦးတဲ့တယောက်တည်းမလုပ်နိုင်တဲ့အရာတွေများစွာကိုလုပ်နိုင်မှုအတွက်ကူညီပေးပါတယ်ပူပေါင်းဆောင်ရွက်မှုကအင်မတန်အရေးကြီးတယ်တယောက်တည်းလုပ်နေလို့မဖြစ်ဘူးအဲ့တော့အတူတူပူပေါင်းဆောင်ရွက်တဲ့အခါမှာတယောက်တည်းမလုပ်နိုင်တာတွေထပ်ပို့ပြီးတော့လုပ်နိုင်တာပေါ့ဒါအများကြီးတဲ့ကိစ္စပါပဲ One man or two may not be able to carry a heavy load but several men helping each other can easily do so One man or two လူတစ်ယောက်ဒါမှမဟုတ်နှစ်ယောက်ပေါ့အဲ့ဒါက may not be able to carry a heavy load လေးလက်နဲ့ဝင်းကိုမတင်နိုင်တယောက်တည်းနှစ်ယောက်တည်းနဲ့လေးဥစ္စာမတင်နိုင်ဘူးเนาะအမှကြောက်တုံးကြီးတစ်ထုံးတတာကြီးတစ်ခုဘီဝီတစ်ခုတဲကြည့်ပါလားရသလားလို့မရဘူးเนาะ but several men helping each other တယောက်နဲ့တယောက်ကူညီနေတဲ့အဲ့ဒီလူတချို့ဆိုရင်เนาะ can easily do so ဒါကိုအလွယ်တကူလုပ်နိုင်ပါအဲ့နှစ်ယောက်တည်းတည်လို့မရဘူးတယောက်တည်းတည်လို့မရဘူးဆိုရင်9ယောက်တည်မယ်9ယောက်တည်မယ်ဒါဆိုရင်ပို့ပြီးတော့လွယ်လွယ်ကူကူလုပ်နိုင်တာပေါ့ Another great advance came in those days about which I have already told you Another great advance came in those days အဲ့ဒီခေတ်တုန်းကနောက်ထပ်เนาะကြီးကျယ်တဲ့တိုးတက်မှုတစ်ခုရောက်လာတယ် about which အဲ့ဒီအကြောင်းအဲ့ဒီတိုးတက်မှုအကြောင်းကို I have already told you အဖေသမီးကိုပြောခဲ့ပြီးသားတဲ့ This was agriculture အဲ့ဒါကစိုက်ပျိုးရေးဖြစ်ပါတယ် You will be interested to know that there are the beginnings of agriculture among some ants You will be interested to know that သမီးသိရတာစိတ်ဝင်စားလိမ့်မယ်ဘယ်အချက်ကိုလဲဆိုတော့ that there are the beginnings of agriculture among some ants တလိဆန်ရဲ့ဂျားမှာเนาะစိုက်ပျိုးရေးရဲ့အစရှိတယ်ဆိုတာကိုသိရတာသမီးစိတ်ဝင်စားလိမ့်မယ်ဒါဆိုရင်ဆိုတော့စိုက်ပျိုးရေးအစပွေရစိတ်ကပေါ့ဒီလိုမျိုးပြောတာအဲ့လိုမျိုးပြောတဲ့အခါမှာ of course I do not mean to say that the ants sow seeds and plow and then reap the harvest Of course ဟုတ်တာပေါ့ I do not mean ဖေမဆိုလိုပါဘူးဘာလဲဆိုတော့ to say ဆိုတာပြောဖို့မဆိုလိုဘူး that ants sow seeds ဒီပြောစိတ်တွေကအစီတွေကိုစိုက်ပျိုးတယ် and plow ထွန်ရက်စိုက်ပျိုးတယ် and then reap the harvest ပြီးတော့ဒီကောက်ပဲတိနေတွေကိုရိတ်သိမ်းတယ်ဒီလိုမျိုးဆိုလိုတာမဟုတ်တရိတ်ဆန်တွေအဲ့လိုလေဒီပြောစိတ်တွေအဲ့လိုလေမရပါဘူး Okay ဒါဟိုရှိတော့ကစိုက်ပျိုးနေတဲ့ပုံပေါ့ But what these ants do is something like this But ဒါပေမဲ့ what these ants do အဲ့ဒီပြောစိတ်တွေလုပ်တဲ့ဥစ္စာတော့ is something like this အဲ့လိုမျိုးပါပဲဘယ်လိုမျိုးလဲကြည့်ကြည့်အောင် If they find a shrub the seeds of which they eat they take out the grass carefully from around the heart if they find a shrub သူတို့ကအပင်တစ်ပင်ကိုတွေ့တဲ့အခါမှာ shrub ဆိုတာခြုံမင်းယုံမင်းလေးတွေကိုဒါ shrub လို့ပြောပါတယ်အဲ့ဒါကိုတွေ့တဲ့အခါမှာဘယ်လိုအပင်လဲဆိုတော့ the seeds of which they eat အဲ့ဒီကအစီလေးကိုသူတို့စားတယ်ပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒီအပင်တစ်ပင်ကိုတွေ့တဲ့အခါမှာ they take out the grass carefully သူတို့က glue တစ်ဆိုင်နဲ့မြက်ကလေးတို့သူကဖယ်ရှားပလိုက်တာပါမြက်ကလေးတွေနှုတ်လိုက်ဘယ်ရလဲဆိုတော့ from round the heart အဲ့ဒီအပင်ရဲ့ပတ်လည်မှာရှိတဲ့မြက်ကလေးတို့သူ glue တစ်ဆိုင်နှုတ်လိုက်ဒါပြောစိတ်တွေကလောက်တာနော်အဲ့လိုလုပ်လိုက်တဲ့အခါမှာဒီမြက်တွေကိုနှုတ်လိုက်တဲ့အခါမှာ this gives the harp a greater chance to live this ရာကဒါကဆိုလိုတာကအဲ့ဒီမြက်တွေကိုနှုတ်လိုက်တဲ့ဥစ္စာကမြက်တွေကိုဖယ်ရှားလိုက်တဲ့ဥစ္စာက gives the harp a greater chance to live ဒီအပင်ကိုအသက်ရှင်ဖို့အတွက်ပူကြီးမားတဲ့အခွင့်အရေးပေးပါတယ်အဲ့တော့ဒီနေ့ခေတ်မှာပေါင်းနေတတ်တဲ့သဘောမျိုးပဲပေါ့အပင်တစ်ပင်ကိုရှင်တန်စေခြင်းနဲ့ဆိုရင်သူ့ဘေးနာပေါင်းမင်းတွေကိုတတ်လိုက်ရတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့အခုလူသားတွေကဒီလိုလုပ်ကြတာကိုသိပေမဲ့ဟိုတုန်းကရှေးဦးလူတွေကဘယ်သိပါတလိဆန်တွေပေါ့အထူးသဖြင့်ပွဲစီတွေကြတော့အဲ့ဒါလေးလုတ်တတ်တယ်ဒါလေးကိုကြည့်ပြီးတော့စိုက်ပျိုးရေးဖြစ်လာနေမှာပေါ့ Perhaps man also did at one time what these ants do perhaps ဆိုတာဖြစ်ကောင်းဖြစ်နိုင်ပါတယ်ဒါဒီအကုန်လုံးကမှန်းဆရတာဖြစ်တဲ့ကြောင့် perhaps to seems to probably တို့ဒီစကားလုံးတွေတုံးရ Man also did at one time ဒါတစ်ချိန်မှာပေါ့လူတွေကလုပ်ခဲ့တယ် what these ants do ဒီပြောစိတ်တွေလုပ်တဲ့ဥစ္စာကိုလူတွေကလုပ်ခဲ့အပင်လေးတွင်ပြနာမြက်ကလေးနှုတ်ပြလိုက်တာပေါ့ဟုတ်ပြီနော်ကဲအဲ့လိုလုပ်တဲ့အခါမှာ they did not then understand what agriculture was they did not then understand အဲ့တုန်းကသူတို့နားမလည်ခဲ့ဘာလို့လဲဆိုတော့ what agriculture was စိုက်ပျိုးရေးဆိုတာဘာလဲဆိုတော့သူတို့နားမလည်ခဲ့ပါဘူး It must have taken them long ages to understand it and to begin to sow seeds It must have taken them long ages. Through a change challenge, Palapolas to understand it, Dago Nalevo. Suraka, Saipuis or Pales Rago Nalevo through a change Chagelime, and to begin to sow seeds. Pure Saipuis or Pales or Nale, pure city go Satimio, Saipu, changing Nahi Chagevaleum. With the coming of agriculture, it was much easier to get food. With the coming of agriculture, so the Saipui Yaulane, it was much easier to get food. Man did not have to hunt all the time for it. The Luria, no? Man did not have to hunt a memelayaro all the time that the channel for it, no? Man did not have to hunt all the time for it. Luriga era Suragatima food trip yogiri to Sapunandonekama it for. Asada the chain of Melanie Yamluro. Dini Melade Yara Sare, now need a Melade Tamulus Yamluro. Habi does an eloped so they could live a less harsh life than they used to. Than they used to live through Nigeria. Neshima so the Kakejanamu Timishi de Poama Drua Nila Night. Asarazo Kakejanadraua Nigeria Poama. Not Nia Sadaru Shabunia, Wuria, Sania, Juzania. Time Sabui Pilare Kamutra through Nigeria Chandanaboma, Maniaro. Another interesting change now took place. Another interesting change now Sewazazia Kone, a Pianet Kua now took place, Kupipala. Before agriculture, every man was a hunter. Before agriculture, Sabui Matanganonga, every man was a hunter, Ludanga, Musuwe, hunter. That was the only work to be done by the man. That was the only work to be done by the man. And Daga, Ludiga, Luyare, Uri, the Kurido, Lopipa. Asado Yabos, a Melayali, a Memam Lion, Lucia Alomishi, Ludari Luyame. The women probably looked after the children and gathered fruit. The women probably looked after the children. A media charo, Kalidio through a sound look after that sound and gather fruit. The Didio Susan Arabo, the Didio Kuarabo. Ta Genoa Loya Lono, Yajaria Melame, Maria, Kalidio Sound, a Tinanu Kuloya. But when agriculture came, there were different kinds of work. When agriculture came, there were different kinds of work. There was work in the fields and hunting and looking after the cattle. There was work in the fields, the and hunting and looking after the cattle, a melai daru, not January, sound show yararu, Tamuri Shila, Lodi Shila, no? Kerazo into Shila Kama, Palula Adalesro. Probably the women looked after the cattle and milked the cows. Probably that a pick on Piedamai. The women looked after the cattle, and multimedia January sound show yari and milked the cows and the Nuariu, Nuniarabu. Some men did one kind of work, others another kind of work. Or some men the Chuluriga did one kind of work. Others another kind of work. The Chaduriga now You find today in the world each person doing one particular kind of work. Or you find today in the world Kabajima Dinike Matami Tribaling. Power to the lesser, each person doing one particular kind of work. The Ludiao Sigano looked at me loneliest out to me, Tribali. A man is a doctor or an engineer, building bridges and roads, or a carpenter, or a blacksmith, or a mason who builds houses, or a shoemaker or a tailor, and so on. A man is a doctor, Ludiaga Siawen, or an engineer, Damho engineer. Not to Balode Dulas or building bridges and roads, the Tatari, Landi Tarigo, or Saulo Paulo de engineer, or a carpenter, Latama, or a blacksmith. Blacksmiths are at the Pedama, or a mason who builds houses, Enigo Saute, Payensia. Masons are ပြန်ဆရာကိုပြောတာပါ or a shoemaker ရှူဖက်လုပ်တဲ့သူပေါ့ဖက်လုပ်တဲ့သူ or a tailor အချုပ်သမား and so on စသဖြင့်ဒီနေ့ခေတ်မှာလူတွေကအလုပ်လုပ်နေကြတာကိုတွေ့ရ Each man has got his special trait and does not know matter anything of other traits အဲ့တော့ဘာပြောထားလဲဆိုတော့ each man has got his special trait လူတယောက်စီကနော်သူ့ရဲ့ဒါအထူးပေါ့နော်ဒီလုပ်ငန်းပေါ့ဒါရှိတယ် and does not know anything of other traits ပြီးတော့တခြားလုပ်ငန်းတွေအကြောင်းကိုသိပြီးတော့မသိကြဒါဆိုရင်ဒါဒီနေ့ခေတ်အကြောင်းပြောတာနော် This is called division of work or division of labor. This is called and I'll call it. Balu called it as a division of work. Or division of labor. If a man tries to do one thing well, he will do it much better than if he tries to do many things. If a man tries to do one thing well, theလူတယောက်ကတစ်ခုခုကိုကောင်းကောင်းလုပ်ဖို့ကြိုးစားမယ်ဆိုရင် he will do it much better than if he tried to do many things. He will do it much better. သူအဲ့ဒါပို့ပြီးတော့ကောင်းကောင်းလုပ်နိုင်လေဘာလို့ထက်လဲဆိုတော့ then if he tried to do many things သူကအလုပ်တွေအများကြီးကိုနော်ဒီကိစ္စတွေအများကြီးကိုလုပ်ဖို့ကြိုးစားတာထက်အဲ့ဒါကိုပို့ပြီးတော့ကောင်းကောင်းလုပ်နိုင်လေဆိုတော့ကအလုပ်တစ်ခုကိုကောင်းကောင်းလုပ်မယ်ဆိုရင်အများကြီးလုပ်တာထက်ပို့ပြီးတော့လုပ်နိုင်လေဟုတ်ပြီနော်အဲ့တော့ဥပမာဆိုတော့ဆရာဝန်တယောက်ဆိုရင်ဆရာဝန်လည်းလုပ် engineer လည်းလုပ်ဘယ်သမားလည်းလုပ်စသဖြင့်အဲ့လိုအများကြီးလုပ်တဲ့သူထက်ဆိုင်သူဆရာဝန်တစ်ခုတည်းလုပ်တဲ့သူကပို့ပြီးတော့အဆင်ပြေနိုင်တယ်အဲ့တော့ဒါတွေကအလုပ်တွေကိုခွဲဝေလုပ်တယ်လို့ပြောတာပါ division of work or division of labor ပေါ့ဒီလိုမျိုးပြောပါတယ် There is a great deal of division of labor in the world today ဒီနေ့ကဘာကြီးမှာအဲ့ဒီလုပ်အားတွေခွဲဝေမှုတွေအများကြီးရှိပါဥပမာလူတစ်ယောက်ဆိုရင်စာတင်တဲ့အလုပ်ကိုလုပ်မယ်ဆိုတာသူရဲ့ division of labor အနေနဲ့ဆိုတာစာတင်မှုကိုခွဲဝေထားတယ်တစ်ဖက်မှာလည်းပဲစိုက်ပျိုးရေးလုပ်တဲ့သူရှိမယ်တစ်ဖက်မှာလည်းစီးကူးတဲ့သူရှိမယ်အိမ်ဆောက်တဲ့သူတွေရှိမယ်နော်စသဖြင့်ဒါတွေအကုန်လုံးကဒီလူဒီလှုပ်ဆိုပြီးတော့အလုပ်တွေခွဲဝေပေးထားတဲ့သဘော division of work ဒါမှမဟုတ် division of labor ဒီလိုမျိုးတွေခွဲဝေထားတာကိုဒီနေ့ခေတ်မှာအများကြီးတွေ့ပါလိမ့် We see this division of labor slowly beginning in the old tribes when agriculture came in အဲ့တော့ဒီစာကြောင်းလေးမပြောခင်မှာအရင်အချိန်လေးကိုပြန်စဉ်းစားရအောင်အရင်တော့ဆိုရင်လူတိုင်းက hunter တွေပဲအမဲလိုက်တဲ့သူတွေပဲမိုးဆိုးတွေပဲအလုပ်တွေခွဲဝေထားတာမရှိနော်ဒါပေမဲ့နောက်စိုက်ပျိုးရေးပေါ်လာတဲ့အခါမှာ agriculture ပေါ်လာတဲ့အခါမှာအလုပ်တွေခွဲဝေပေးရအမဲလိုက်တဲ့သူကလည်းတွားလိုက်ရဒီမှာထွန်ရက်တဲ့သူကလည်းထွန်ရက်ကမယ်စိုက်ပျိုးတဲ့သူကလည်းစိုက်ပျိုးရမယ်ကျွဲနွားတွေကိုကြည့်တဲ့သူကကြည့်ရမယ်အဲ့ဒါတွေကိုရောင်းဝယ်ဖောက်ကားတဲ့သူတွေကလုပ်ရမယ်စသဖြင့်အလုပ်တွေခွဲဝေမှု division of labor ဒါလေးတွေရှိလာလိမ့်မယ်ဟုတ်ပြီနော်ဒါကအရင်တော့မရှိတဲ့ဥစ္စာ agriculture ရှိလာတဲ့အခါမှာတဖြည်းဖြည်းနဲ့ဖြစ်လာတယ်ပေါ့အဲ့ဒီအကြောင်းလေးကြည့်ကြအောင် We see this division of labor slowly beginning in the old tribes when agriculture came in. We see this division of labor ဒီလုပ်အားတွေခွဲဝေမှုက slowly beginning in the old tribes အဲ့ဒီမျိုးနွယ်စုเนาะရှေးဟောင်းမျိုးနွယ်စုတွေမှာတဖြည်းဖြည်းနဲ့ဖြစ်လာတာကိုအဖေတို့မြင်ရပါတယ်ဘယ်အခါမှာလဲဆိုတော့ when agriculture came in စိုက်ပျိုးရေးရောက်လာတဲ့အခါမှာအဲ့လိုမျိုးလုပ်အားခွဲဝေမှုတွေတဖြည်းဖြည်းဖြစ်လာတယ်ဆိုတာကိုအဖေတို့မြင်ရပါတယ်အဲ့တော့အခုပြောခဲ့တဲ့အကြောင်းက how religion began and division of labor ပေါ့ဘာသာတရားတွေစတင်ဖြစ်ပေါ်လာပုံนี้နောက်ပြီးတော့လုပ်အားတွေခွဲဝေမှုတွေဒီအကြောင်းအရာလေးတွေကိုပြောခဲ့တာပါအမတန်စိတ်ဝင်စားစရာလေးကောင်းပါတယ်ဘုဟုတ္တလေးရမယ်လို့မျှော်လင့်ပါတယ်အားလုံးကိုကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်